I think we have a very exciting and interesting topic, in the search of eternal youth, because in Skolkovo there are so many innovative things, and we can speak a lot about teleportation, flying cars, and other planets. The main topic which is interesting to people, these are eternal lives, eternal youth, absence of illnesses. My name is Anton Ivanov, and I am a chief editor of Man Today. Previously it was Men's Health. It was called Men's Health. How can we achieve eternal youth, prolonged youth, how we can enjoy ourselves as long as it's possible? Please, speakers, introduce yourselves and speak a few words about yourself. Thanks, colleagues. Hello, my name is Ulyana Gladii. I am the general director of the company Your Super Drops. These are additives and buds from additives from the sources. We are also a startup, and will soon be residents of Skolkovo. That's all in short. Hello, everybody. My name is Magomed-Amin, Idilov, general director and founder MDINC company. Our company also wants to set a goal, which is on the screen, eternal youth. But here we speak about brain. And we are developing IT solutions on the basis of AI, which allows to restore brain after the stroke, develop brains for young people, and also for children who need this, which helps them to become more reliable, more in tune of today's realities. Hello. My name is Sergey, Litau. I'm also here in the search of eternal youth as others here. During pandemic, I organized online academy of yoga, and we also teach people how to teach yoga online. I have been doing yoga for 36 years. I will share you this secret with you. I'm 50 practically. It's cool. You look very nice. Okay, good afternoon. My name is Olga Aprelikova. Today I'm the president of the University of Educational Medicine, which is busy with giving some innovative professions like nutritionists and so on. And today I'm organizing a network cluster, and I want to combine here commercial and non-commercial projects, which will work in several directions: innovative education, business in the sphere of health, and business and education mostly. And we also would like to do our own startups to also have the current businesses. Our mission, the main mission, is forming of a new national culture of health. As you see, we have very interesting speakers, and my first question will go to Amina, because one time I met Hidekoshi Endo, and he's responsible of national longevity in Japan. After the Second World War in Japan was 50 years, but to the end of the century they became the country with the biggest number of people who live long. And yes, they can prolong longevity, but they can't do anything with dementia. There are problems with brain, and how can we prolong the work of the brain, especially in the metropolis? Yes, the problem of brain aging has been existed always, and it will exist for a long time until mankind won't think only about body, but also about brain. Now we can see the trend on fitness and keeping in shape, use of your face, but trends which dictate new rules for preserving use of brain. We don't see, only people just don't think about it until they deal with it. I'm 24 years old. From the point of view of for 1 year, my brain is getting old because the process of brain aging is already starting. By 40, I will already see the first signs of brain aging, absence of drive, which I have now in my body. And if I don't continue to do that, by 60, I will have a stroke or I will have development of dementia. This is not my medical track. This is just a simple medical statistics and those illnesses which we have during time. First of all, if we want to avoid this, we need to understand that, first of all, we are our brain. So everything which happens in our body, all our wishes, this is all brain work. Now we have such a trend that we call ourselves unique and we even refuse biological role in forming of us, but this is wrong because we are biosocial creatures and we are regulated by our biology and by our surroundings. And if we want to preserve our health and so we should pay attention to the biological aspects. The standard practices I can give, and even today you can read these tactics concerning, for example, having new skills, learning new languages, more time spending in fresh air, and these are trivial things which everybody heard of, and so then you will forget about it. And if you want to develop your brain, so the first thing which you need to do, this is analysis. Analysis yourself and events and which are happening in your life. If we take personal cases, I live in accordance with the principles reason and consequence. I'm obsessed with them. There are rules. There are always reasons and there are consequences. And this is a simple practice. And why did I come to the stage? What will happen when I get off the stage? So what are you at this time? Analysis yourself as a human helps your brain to develop, to get to understand what's going on right now. I know that startup is a drive event, and maybe I will give you a little bit of pessimism. You need to understand that we are all mortal. And immortality is possible even if we have it, and not of course for us. I think we will die sooner or later. Let's admit it, and let's spend our life more rational. When we speak about brain, so different worries and something which you have in your life, they beat your brain most of all, and they hurt your brain. And this influences on your life quality, and that's don't worry, please. I understand that life is and it has an end. Enjoy it, and that's the main recommendation. If we don't proceed to science, but still, I'm a startup, and I'm studying brain, and I like I like the scientific approaches. Everything is based on neuroplasticity, neurogenesis. That's why I can give you advices. And now I speak not to you, but I will advise you to do this with your elderly parents, because you are still okay, I think. And there, the process are going on, and maybe they are very far. I have several recommendations. So the first recommendation: forget that neuro treadmills which you have at computers and phones work. They only improve not quality of your brain, they only improve your skill of games or what is offered by your application. But generally speaking, if we think about development and preservation of health of brain, the most important aspect is involvement. If you perceive information only clicking by your mouse, you have got bad news for you. This don't improve your brain. And if you want really to train your brain, make an accent on not trivial ways of working with information. For example, if you get used to read all information, it's easier for you to work like this. Please make your brain to work a little bit more. Try to perceive information through audio. For example, if you are a cool guy, you can do everything audio, video. We have tactile things. Please be aware of this, because everything which is going on around you, even now, this influences on your brain and it preserves its youth. The other recommendation is the following. Maybe I will be like my mom or dad, like 19 years ago. Learn language, learn foreign languages, because this is the best way to train your brain and to give a couple of neural networks. If you know English language, please start another one. Don't speak it even, but even understand of the patterns of the language helps your brain to train. And, for example, studying of language, studying of some algorithms, and the grammar. How can it help me? If we look at the banal statistics of salary, for example, distribution of people who know English or other languages or not, if we can see that knowledge language is a sign of such people. For example, sign of top managers. Why? Because this is also brain training. The next recommendation out of such skills, if you are afraid of this, so if you are afraid to drive car, if you are afraid to dance, ballet, sing, if you are afraid to do something, you do it, because the brain of each person, this is a very lazy guy, coward, sometimes a drug addict, which likes to be in comfortable conditions and not to go anywhere. I set an example recently to my acquaintances. I'm from Yaroslavl city. If you were there somewhere, it's not so beautiful. It's not a very beautiful city, but when we look at the window, out of the window, the first reaction is turn off, because it's a mess, dirt. But our brain cannot live in a bad condition. It will create an illusion for your brain that everything is good there in Yaroslavl. That's why if you are from a small town, you say that your town is bad, his town is bad, he will be very aggressive. Why does it work? Because the brain likes itself, likes to be lazy, and first, yes, it will be a turn-off, maybe for you to get out of the mess, but after this, you will be so afraid of changes that all reality will seem to be a paradise for you. And if so you try something new, new skills, moving, searching for a new life, even. And the last final recommendation, if you have some questions, then I will be able to answer them. Don't forget to communicate. There are many quotes and phrases which you can have. You can see in internet linked to the introverts. The biggest part of the society think that if a person is alone, it's cool, it's good, and they like it. But a person is a biosocial thing, and half of your knowledge, half of your experience, half of what you are presenting, this is the result of interaction with other people. Don't forget that communication is very important, and also don't just discuss some tiny news, but this is also important, but also discuss your professional topics and professional trends, and if you do IT at the professional level, and you also communicate with a person who is a cook, you try to know the difference between knives, because such talks with professionalisms also train your brain very well. If we speak about per people, so all recommendations above, they are aimed at preserving your brain use. But we are a society. We are not. We are living in socium. That's why for someone you are also interlocutor. You can give recommendations to people, and someone copy you. That's why please pay attention to this and be those people who make lives of people who surround you better than before they met you. I have one more question. Amin, you think about eternal youth, so you maybe can answer this question. Besides, you say that we are all age, and there is one more. We are always, linked with gadgets. It's like our part and parcel. How does it influence on our brain? Because we solve a lot of things. We do a lot of things with the help of gadgets. Because we communicate also electronically. Is there any research how it influences on your brain? Yes, this is quite a big topic of discussion, and this is not does not contain any argument, because gadgets they don't replace any skills. They vice versa. They become some kind of a new skill. And when you know how to use computer, video shooting, processing of audio, writing of posts, and so on and so forth, these are new skills. Earlier, we just did not have them. And now they came to the phone. Of course, regarding communication, for more brains, it's very important to be in contact, because our biological part is at the level of hormones. And if there are very pleasant people near me, so I still feel their perfume, and so I can shake hand, I can hug a person, and this leads to this, that my brain also processes some hormones and neuromédiators. And when we speak about communication, for example, when we look at the teams, we had teams. We had this COVID year, and we had remote work, and we even could see the changes of tasks in trackers. Our team consists of 50 people, and we compared its remote part and the part which is in office. And so the team tasks, office tasks, are in different rooms, for example, because at the level of perception, we start to work differently. And, there is a very simple example, and I just don't want to be a person who says that we are different because of the gender, but it is like this. For example, we can discuss something in the team, and there are several guys, and there are also women, girls. And at the time, even if there are guys, even if they are well-bred, they don't pay attention to this women and their friends, which only they are interested to their brain. And they want to attract them, and they will contribute more, not to give not an out-of-box solution, just to impress them. If we speak about people on the whole, not only about those who like to show off, but you know that human brain has only 3 ways to receive pleasure: food, sexual, and social. And social direction also allows our brain to have pleasure when we live in a nice flat, when we have a high social status, but also the same social reward for our brain is in those moments when we are better than others, and when we work online. It's not evident for brain to be better. When we are at the stage or in the conference, the brain can look at other people, rivals, and the brain understands I'm better now. It doesn't think globally that there are some other people besides those who are present here. And the research, there are so much research, and we conducted them. So we also observed people with some brain diseases or nerve diseases. In particular, we had research how autistic people communicate in real life, how they use gadgets, and now we cannot demonize this communication through network, gadgets, those, even because of the reason why we conducted this research. We noticed that when we give some kind of instruction, a person who has autistic, he can't do it in real life. He will never come up to a woman. He can't hug a person if he does not trust him. But when we speak about using of social networks, they behave like we, and they communicate in social networks. They can flirt. For them, this is a way which helps them to preserve their brain youth and socialize. And this process of socialization is very important for us, not only for young people who are in Skolkovo, but also it's important for grandmas, grandfathers, for those autistic people. Gadgets are also important. It's a great thing which allows us to simplify life. But just don't abuse them too much. For example, if you want to cook or making bed in the morning, this is the same training, the same as learning language. If you use take services of a cook of somebody else, stop to do this. Try to do everything else. Okay, I just was thinking about this. I mean, mentioned education and training. I think this is a very good thing to make our brain work, to keep it eternally used, but not always drunk. And my next question about education, I would like to ask Olga Aprelikova. She is the president of the University of Educational Medicine. So what what trends in education do we have? And how can we improve our life quality, prolong this life quality? Thank you very much for this question. I would like to start generally. Now we have new needs in health. Educational medicine, which was born not long ago in Russia, it's not by accident, because medicine and the new technologies in the area of health became available to people. I don't now speak about financial part of this issue, but about technologies. People want to know about their health, and they want to know a lot of information, maximum information. They want to know how to be maximum healthy, because of some reasons, and also there is a new culture of health on the whole, not only in the world but also in our country. All trends, we also now work at these trends, and we have a new culture forming, but also we have a new medical paradigm, and today we've heard about new notions which we have now. That's the notion not of future but of present, preventive medicine, patient-oriented medicine, and some other things. It also gives us an opportunity to prolong the youth, and we're not even worried about eternal life. We want quality life, and we are speaking about forming such ecosystems in the area of health which can allow people to live long lives, minus 2 years. From minus 2 years till old life. Now you should be ready for pregnancy for a long time, maybe like in advance of 24 months, and this is also a serious education in this area. So they should have serious education in this area, and also want to live a good life, grandmas, grandpas, and the spirit should be also good, and they should not have such illnesses which exist in this period of life. And here we can have the system of labor separation and the educational system. Regarding the system of labor separation, here we have understanding about classical conventional medicine. We know what it is. And when we speak about new medical paradigm, this is mostly a preventive, personified medicine doctor. But we also are going further, and we understand that if we want to reach those results regarding health of people, which is needed in our realities, one doctor is not enough. And why do we have such high results? Why do we need such high results now for people? Because we live in a modern world, and our ecological agenda is different. We live in a different food industry. Regarding world trends are different, and they influence our life, speed of this world, competitiveness, the highest competitiveness, which 20, 50 years ago, we could not imagine such level of competitiveness in the world. That all needs different levels of health and energy and state, other quality of life, and a different attitude to your health, different attitude to the health of your relatives. And here, coming back to a doctor of preventive medicine, there is a need to specialists who help profession. And today, these are professions which have already names. Now, at the state level, they are not registered, but these professions work already. They have been working for 5 years already in our country, and this trend has been realized during last 20 years. The specialists should help doctors of preventive medicine, and now we can see such collaboration which allow nutritionists, integrative psychotherapists, to attract people to educational medicine, and then this specialist is able and know how to do this, to attract doctors for work, to realize medical destinations in this area. And this system of labor distribution is important to reach high good results.
And as to the trends in the education, in addition to the labor division system, I would also like to mention, and it was mentioned during the previous session, and that word is the personification or customization. When a person comes to us to follow some course, we can help the person to fill the educational track with a number of courses that would be relevant. Now, we as people who want to have quality life, we also need some courses for ourselves. It is not only about changing a profession. We are working as an institution of additional education, but we just as people want to understand more about medicine. We want to learn and know about it as much as possible, because when we go to a doctor, to a caregiver, we need to understand what they are talking about. We also need to be able to motivate ourselves, because a doctor as well as caregivers, they're not with us on a daily basis. They're not in our phone, in our smartphone. That's why today, when we study medicine, we are able to analyze our blood tests, we are able to analyze our hormones, we can do stress management as well as to normalize our sleeping patterns. I think that this should be included into the life of everybody now on a regular basis. Also, we need to get some personalized fitness activities, sports activities. Some of us prefer yoga, some of us prefer heavy lifting, for example. So it all depends, and it is about personalizing. Today, we are creating a lot of programs for ordinary people, for people that want to be able to use these technologies on a daily basis, and that would also like to have some assistance to them and to their families in doctors and caregivers. That's right, some insurance companies decrease the interest rates if a person uses the services of a health coach, because this will decrease the costs for the subsequent treatment, medical treatment. Because if some dangerous trends are identified at an early stage, then this definitely will help a person to avoid any costly treatment. And gadgets and devices are our assistants in this quite often. Those that can, for example, measure our sugar in the blood, etc. And so, what are the new solutions, such as neural nets, that help doctors to make decisions, to diagnose? Because sometimes we cannot observe a patient wholly. Is it in use in Russia already? Because I know that in the West, people can make use of IBM Watson, for example, and it is accessible. Well, in Russia, as far as I know, there is a whole army of doctors who promote preventive medicine and prevention. But we are just at the start of this process. We are just getting acquainted with this. Doctors are quite vigilant, but they're also very careful about it. Our main task is to introduce this to the modern doctors, the doctors that have some broad knowledge in the field of the advanced technologies. We need to make them added to their professional life. And I also thought that we should have a kind of an ecosystem in the field of making our population healthier. That's why we are currently creating the network biomedical cluster, also with the support of some governmental bodies, because we cannot address it just by the means of our education. It is not possible to address the tasks that our nation faces, that we all face together and that we face individually. We need to talk about new technologies, about IT in medicine that is coming to our life. We need to talk about some new content, new educational technologies. Quite often we get a lot from our scientists, biologists, professionals in genetics. A lot of content is located in Russia, but we of course also take a lot from our international colleagues from the West, and we then add this information to our educational process. Then the business, new startups, production startups, IT startups. This all is important. This should be in cooperation. Your question is right about that. Whether a contemporary modern doctor with the widest possible knowledge and talents, whether this doctor is capable of helping a person live their life without any chronic diseases, even, for example, if this person has some very bad genetic record, can we help this person to live a healthy life with a high quality of their life? This is the concept, and we see that more and more doctors are currently emerging in this field, and we as business should help them and provide them with the solutions. Well, honestly, this is not really widespread and common in the medical community. Nutritionists and health coaches are more about it, and they are searching for these solutions. Just yesterday, I had a meeting. We are developing a project connected to IT solution. We will unite doctors, caregivers, different production projects, as well as food industry. It will help a person to form a diet, to build a diet, and to stick to it later on. We want to place all these solutions in one place. Well, this sounds nice. Okay, so we see that there is growth possible. We see that over the past 70 years, the life expectancy increased by 23 years, and well, we see that it will be emerging in the future as well. And now I'd like to give the floor to Ulyana Gladii from your Super Drops. Could you please tell a bit more about your startup? Right, so good afternoon, and I want to start with the fact that in 2020 I realized that my brain decided to create some new neural connections. I had a career in winery and restaurants, and I just joined the force of good, so to say, and I decided to create a startup that will help us to find this eternal youth with our assistants, such as herbs and plants from Russia. That was our main goal, to unleash the potential of plants and herbs of Russia. And we wanted to develop foods that will help us to extend our life expectancy. We started during very interesting times in January 2022. I'm not going to tell you about all the stages that we are currently going through, but as to the mission and the product itself, why did we take Russian herbs and plants as the foundation for us? Well, the love for our soil was given to me by my family. I'm from from a very small city from the Republic of Bashkortostan, and from the very childhood I was hearing that our soil, our earth is very valuable. It has unlimited potential that people don't want to unleash. Why? Because it will take a lot of time and it'll be very difficult. But now we are living in the age of long-living people. We need to get ready and we need to create long-standing, long-term products and projects that will stay after us and that will be beneficial for others. When we were developing the mission of our company, we wanted to approach our product properly. This is not about the innovation itself, but we wanted to learn to work properly with plants and herbs. And we work with a lunar calendar. We pick the plants only manually with our hands. And we don't pick every and each herb and plant. We have professionals that were learning about it for many generations. And this is kind of a religion for us. We don't want to create another product in the field of biological additives and food additives. We want to create something more. We want to create something that will render some value and have some educational value. When I say education, I mean that since September this year, 2022, we will explain that each region has its autochtones in the form of plants. For example, in Altai, in Bashkiria, this is one group of plants. In Krasnodarsky Krai, the south is characterized by some other plants. So, as opposed to our colleagues, we want to create a product that would really be an assistant for you. And we want to teach people this. We see that the awareness of people about plants and herbs, about their value for our body is at the very low level. And this is a very important aspect of our mission. As to the product itself, initially when we were developing and designing all this, when we were searching for this eternal youth, we wanted to come up with a couple of lines. So the first line is the basic one. For example, if you don't have enough energy, then you can use this product. If you have low immunity, then a weak immunity, you could use this assistant of ours, etc., etc. So we've worked for 4 months and we've got some really good results. 95% of all our customers are returning customers and they buy some products for their dear ones. This is a unique story for our market, especially if we are talking startup and something new. Then the next line, this is also socially valuable product. This is about our brain and the fight against stress, because this is the foundation. If you take any biologically active additives, but you are under constant stress, then whether you are taking omega, spirulina, this is just a very regular set of a Muscovite, a Moscow citizen. This doesn't work. You should return to the basics. And we are developing the line to fight stress. And another line of products that we also want to launch quite soon, this will be for active long life. 50 plus, 60 plus aged people. This is a unique product for our market. We took some developments of our scientific institutions. This is purely plant and herb based, and we've got some very impressive results. So our product is a very long-standing one, but we are getting to the result that almost everybody who takes our product sees the result that was meant to be. So as to our company, our young company, we want to create, and we are creating, the products that will really be assistance, helpers for a whole family. We are currently working on the children's product line, and we plan to launch it at the end of the year. We'll have separately a female and male product lines, because definitely men and women face different problems, and we've got some solutions that will definitely help ladies. I'm currently testing it myself, and this is just immense. This is just inspiring. Thanks a lot. I just really would like to try these products. Thank you. Okay, and here we also have Sergey, the president of Yoga Academy. So he said that he's been doing yoga for 36 years, and he looks like he's 36, so definitely he knows something about youth. Okay, so I've heard something about new hopes coming that will be beneficial for people over 60. Right, so I started yoga 30 years ago, practicing yoga 30 years ago, and I still do it. In yoga texts, you can find everything that you've heard today, and thanks a lot, dear speakers, for such an extensive overview of the topic of a long life. Well, in yoga, everything is quite simple. The average life expectancy for a yoga mentor is 100 years. And we really see that indeed a lot of teachers of yoga and mentors of yoga live about 100 years or even more. What you know about yoga today is maybe not really correct. Today there is much more information available. In the past we thought that it's crazy exercises that is not for everybody. One has to be very flexible to do yoga. That is not true. This is a discipline of mindset through the discipline of body. No less, no more. One of the fundamental works on yoga says that yoga is to prevent the brain, our mind, from being disturbed, from being surfing somewhere else, not in the present. So that's what I was doing my whole life, and this is the field of my professional activities as well. In 1993, or maybe I got confused, I forgot when it all happened. So once upon a time, the Federation of Yoga was created. Its main task was to teach the population to take care of themselves. I take care of myself because I like it. But I do know that a lot of people just hate to do something like this, and they are fans of scientific progress because scientific progress allows us to be lazy. So we've got an elevator, and now we are not taking any ladders, any steps. On the one hand, innovations and technologies are fine, but at the same time, our bodies are suffering, and they're getting older, destroyed, and they die. Yoga is a discipline that is not about thinking about actually health. No, there is nothing connected to health in yoga. This is a side effect, subproduct, so to say. So if you do yoga, you are healthy. Why? Because on a daily basis, you do some exercises and perform some actions. And I would like, as probably many of you, to get a silver bullet and get it once and stay young and beautiful till the very end of your life. But it doesn't work like this. One has to make efforts daily. In general, in yoga, there is a whole set of different activities, practices that can help you to increase your energy, to stabilize your mind, to enjoy life. Because, well, essentially, life is a joyful thing to have. And also, as many of you know, to live here and now. So I started practicing yoga back in 90s, and in addition to that I created an academy, and before that we had a yoga federation. The main task was to make yoga popular. I wanted to instill this habit into everybody, and what's most important, in children. The main idea is that, for example, if I was taught to brush my teeth in the childhood, I continue to do so until now. Well, nobody explains whether it's useful or not, but we are just accustomed to brushing our teeth. And yeah, we can be punished if we don't brush our teeth. Or you can have like a bad smell if you don't do it. But for some reason, we do it differently with our bodies. Nobody told us about these very simple exercises that we should do and perform, these simple activities that we can adapt and instill in our children. With time, we become smarter, wiser and older. We get some problems, physical problems, and we start to search for different ways to address the problems that we're facing. Some of the people get back to medicine, starts to take medication. Some of people use herbs. I chose yoga. And I think there are millions of people on earth that also choose to train daily. Over the course of 24 hours per day, if I'm not sleeping, I constantly tell people about the benefits of yoga via different channels. On Instagram, through my personal trainings, through group trainings. And my last project is called Online Yoga Academy. We stopped to work with just ordinary people, but we started to train trainers. So we've created some kind of MLM with yoga. So we train people who will train other people. Our training course takes about 1 year, and we already got the graduates of our academy. Those are the people that have gone through different changes, different transformations, and they're now graduating, and they will soon start to train others. So that's how we instill the habit of taking care of ourselves. Well, one of the people said that if we don't take care, or if we do take care of ourselves, then we don't take care of the world. But actually today we've got a lot of people who take care of the world but don't take care of themselves. Okay, so we know how much it takes to brush our teeth, but how much do we have to allocate, how much time do we have to allocate to yoga? Well, I do yoga during an hour and a half per day, just individually, but then I also have trainings and workshops for other people. So totally my yoga is about 6 hours per day. Some of people do yoga for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It's fine. I don't think it's a big deal to give your health 10 minutes to avoid being disabled when you get older, to avoid getting something like Alzheimer's. I just remember a scene from my childhood when there were a lot of elderly ladies sitting in front of my main door in the city where I lived, and they were just constantly exchanging some crazy ideas. I wouldn't like to live like this. I'd like to be more active, and that's what I actually do right now. And I think that all those who are present here would like to take the cue. And that's definitely possible. Okay, thank you. Currently, while we are here, a lot of people in different labs are working on different solutions to extend our life. What are the breakthroughs that you expect to happen that will allow us to extend our life expectancy, to enable us to talk about the youth of 50 years old, 60 years old? Well, I'm afraid of thinking about breakthroughs, because in that case we'd just stop to move. But jokes apart, gadgets are interesting. On the one hand, well, we do have gadgets, that's our reality, that's fine. We cannot say that that's bad or that's good. But today we are already getting some innovative projects that connect virtual reality and gadgets with the real world, with the reality that we live in. For example, there are some projects that make you walk and they pay you money for this. That's crazy but interesting. I think that the combination of these technologies with life, with ordinary actions of people, is genius. And I would like to see more such projects emerging. In addition to that, we expect some breakthroughs in the field of fight against oncology or cancer, because now we see a lot of people suffering from cancer. I don't think that that was the case in the past, and dementia as well. Indeed, my colleagues already mentioned it, and people indeed suffer sometimes when they get older. I think that some breakthroughs should happen in this respect. Okay, yes, right, thank you very much. And I mean, could you comment as well? Yes, well, essentially, would also like to comment about technologies and where we are going in this world. Now, when we take a look at the reality and circumstances in which we live, as Sergey just said, we see more people suffering from cancer and some health problems, obesity, etc. And indeed, if we just took a look around ourselves 50 years ago and now, we saw that now we've got more problems. But it's not that we started to be sick more often. No, it's not the case. First, it's about statistics, because we should always be talking not in absolute figures, but in relative figures. And also we have to mention the causes of all this. That's medicine. Medicine, meaning not that it kills us with medication, but we learned to diagnose. That's something different. The first project that I created, and I had to actually sell it, it was to fight against cancer. That is a very sensitive topic for me. Well, actually, like, that's crazy, but I love this disease. I love how it's built. I love how it's organized. I'm just very much, well, not inspired, but yeah, I'm just, kind of inspired with this. I know that it sounds crazy, but when I first saw, like, how cancer spreads in the brain, I was just enchanted. And I remember that when I was a student, the first mentions of oncology get back to the 2nd century AD. So it wasn't really diagnosed well. It was only diagnosed after the death of a person or at some very late stage of the disease. Well, nobody knew at that time what was the cause of all this. There were different studies and different guesses, but then there was one freak who just took a palm of his wife, and just scanned it with some equipment that was analyzing waves. And then he just scanned the hand of his wife and got the first X-ray view. Then we already talked about preventive medicine when it comes to prevention, but talking about technologies, we see some huge focus in prevention on diagnostics. If we get back to our personal case, we are not just developing products that help to rehabilitate after a stroke, but this can also help us to analyze the activities of our brain and to identify what are the problems that we can face, such as dementia, etc. The earlier we diagnose, identify a problem, the more chances we have to address it. So I think that there will be a lot of breakthroughs in the field of diagnostics. First and foremost, in the field of cancer oncology. Now, the world has understood that this is a crazy disease and it needs to be cured, but I can't be very optimistic about it because I know how regulation works and research works. If we talk about like food additives, then to make a new one happen, a lot of research should be conducted. This is about discipline that has emerged after a disaster. Now we have pills in some boxes and in blisters and everything. That is because some time ago some person just added some poison into some bottle of a medicine. So I expect indeed breakthroughs, new products, and this will definitely help people to live better. And our second speaker mentioned today that there'll be more personalized medicine. We are going along this track. It's about portable devices that will help us to read our body parameters. We'll see more and more focus from the medical institutions on that this is important. This is important not only just to analyze just the general state of a body, but we need to analyze the state of a particular body. So, diagnostics and personalization of medicine as it is. Okay, thank you. I would like to thank Amin, Sergey, Olga, Ulyana. I guess we've got a very interesting discussion. And to conclude and sum up, I'd like to say that the first person who will live for 200 years is maybe among us. Maybe in this hall, in this audience, maybe he does yoga, maybe he takes some pills, I don't know. Maybe he studies or she studies their brain. So we are also working for this. Get to our website, Men Today. Look at what we turned men's health into and take care of your health. Thank you.
ВК-звонки доступны везде и без ограничений. В 4К и с активным шумоподавлением. Будьте всегда на связи в ВК-звонках.
Встречайте приложение ВК-клипы. Удобный видеоредактор. Уникальные маски и эффекты. И стильные фильтры для обработки. Еще быстрее, проще, вертикальнее. Теперь в отдельном приложении ВК-клипы. Место встречи талантов.
классно шьешь, варишь, печешь и вообще что-то производишь в Москве? Тогда сейчас самое время поверить в то, что ты делаешь, заявить о себе и занять свое место на рынке, пока другие не заняли. Смотри, это твоя дверь в новый мир. Открывай и узнай, чем мы можем тебе помочь. Москва-24 для бизнеса. Давай с нами.
Журнал «Эксперт» — это российский и международный бизнес, общественно-политические процессы, аналитика и прогнозы, рейтинги и интервью. Специальные условия на подписку на сайте expert.ru. «Эксперт» — настоящий деловой журнал.
Сделан из старых забытых вещей, из ночи и дня без обмана, из порванных струн и разбитых идей, из холода и тумана. Ты соткан из дыма и верных друзей, и разных незыблемых истин, из горя и радости, света, теней. А может, из чьей-нибудь мысли. Ты сделан из старых ненужных вещей, оставленных кем-то на пути. Ты сделан из очень хороших людей, и тебе это очень подходит.
МТС Стартап Хаб. Работа с реальным бизнес-заказчиком МТС. Доступ к ресурсам самого крупного телеком-бренда в России. Не можешь поверить? А в твой стартап обязательно поверят. У нас